what a Sunday. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. I got to check the streams here. I got to make sure everybody's streaming all right. It looks like we're going there. Is it really? Is it doing it? Is it doing it? God, I hope so. I'm Big Daddy Gonzo. Good to see you. I hope everybody's doing okay. Everybody's all right. Nobody's got a little tickle or nothing. Everybody's okay. You good? You good? You good? Everybody's anticipating getting out and getting back to work. I have never seen more people more excited to go to work. These are the same people who back in January are like, oh, God, I need a vacation. Yeah. And now you've had 2 months of vacation, and now you're like, I can't wait to go back to work. I feel you. I feel you.
Desperation creates a need, you know, and a desire as well. So it changes the whole landscape. Well,
boredom.
Yeah, but also bank accounts are important.
Bank accounts.
Yeah.
Bank accounts. But by the way, everybody, that's the Mazz. Say hi to the nice people.
Hello, nice people.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to wait. Drink some more coffee.
Hello, nice people.
Have some more coffee.
Yeah, we were good, and then you said something before the show started, and I can't get it out of my head right now. So we're just going to continue to let this just stew, and you talk for a minute, and I'll catch up because
my evil grows.
Yeah, it's just something. Okay, so anyway, hello, nice people.
Sports. Say hi to sports.
Hello, sports. Nice people. Hey, we got alien talk today. That's exciting.
Yeah, we are going to definitely talk about aliens because and I don't really talk about aliens or UFOs on any of the other shows. Okay, which by the way, we do have 3 other shows here on the Gonzo Radio Network. Starting off with Chat Fight tonight at 7 p.m., followed by the Cocktail Hour at 9 p.m., and the Gonzo Radio Show, My Baby, on Monday nights. Stop that. At Monday nights at 8 p.m. Shameless plugs.
Not at all. Not shameless at all.
We're going to start a new show really soon. We're going to probably call it Getting Wood because the host's name is Stephanie Wood. And we're probably going to start Getting Wood or I don't know, but it's coming though. Stephanie Wood, Dan Casso, they are the hosts of the Problem Addict podcast. We may even just absorb them into the network, but we are growing, we are moving, we are doing stuff. Because what am I going to do? Get a job? Yeah, it's one thing that I've come to realize as I've just I've put some feelers out. Maybe get a part-time job, do a little something until the club thing comes back around because we work in nightclubs. And I'm looking around and I'm checking, and I have a skill set. I have previous business management, abilities and experience. I can work in an office background. I won't grab everybody's ass, I promise. Not like I do at work, but and that's right, everybody, nobody's safe. But I'm scanning around, looking through the various little jobs here. I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled hard.
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
spoiled a lot.
For sure.
I am. I am. Oof. I'm like $12 an hour. Who can live on that? I mean, honestly, and that's not to demean people who work hard for $12.50 an hour, $13 an hour.
Yes.
And I look at the job that you do, and I'm like, I would walk off into his. Not that I'm not physically able to do it. Okay, but in my mind, because I've been this spoiled ass, DJ for 20, going on 26 years, and I was a club DJ before that even. So we're talking about 30 years in the business, working at night like a vampire, and I just $12.50 an hour. It's like I'll do it.
Yeah,
to pay
changes
my
are coming.
bills. It changes your perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
So I will definitely be really happy to get back to my regular job because oh my God, I love my job. Oh yeah. So for those of you out there that are struggling, we're going to help take your mind off of things for a little bit here, and we are going to discuss stuff from the world of sports and something a little maybe off world because he's an alien nut. He loves them aliens.
I am a truther.
A truther.
And when you see stories, when you read stories, and there are numerous and more stuff coming out, I don't know. I'm interested. Again, I'm not trying to persuade anybody's opinion. I'm not here to say they're here, they're not. That's up to you to decide. And if it breaks your religious code to think that, all this other whatever. I mean, I'm a Christian. I consider myself faithful and into God and all that stuff. But I have an open mind, and if I see something that looks to be somewhat true, regardless of what I may or may not have thought before, I'm definitely going to take a look at it. I'm definitely going to entertain it. And if it's, I don't know, if there's smoke, there's fire. I kind of lend to that theory a little bit. So there just seems to be a lot of smoke out there lately. So,
The pyramids, aliens or not? Oh, I got him with the first one.
Aliens.
Aliens?
Yeah. Just because the guy with the hair. I mean, how do you not believe that guy? I mean, seriously. He says there's aliens, and there's aliens. That's all I'm saying. So.
Sounds all right to me.
Yeah. I mean,
sounds about right.
And everything he says, he makes it sound so truthful. I mean, he parallels things and puts things together. It's like that guy probably solved the Rubik's Cube in about 9 minutes. So, done. Yellow, green, red, whatever the colors are, bam, done. So, and then said it was an alien that probably did it. So, yeah.
Slams it down.
And made you believe it, probably, too. So.
Oh, well, here we go. Jumping over onto the Facebook Live feed. And of course, it pops on the volume and tries to make things sound weird. Wow, so everybody checking in. Sharon Pfeiffer, we're going to see you later, baby. Of course we will. Sharon Pfeiffer from the Chat Fight Show coming on at 7 o'clock. Cynthia Stanley. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Spats. Spats in the house. And the master of the buff bomb. And no, that's not a wrestling move. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So, hi, everybody. Good morning, everybody. And welcome, of course, to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. I'm doing host stuff now. I'm going to get us back on track.
Good.
Get us moving.
Yeah, we got some sports stuff.
Well, so one of the biggest headlines from the NFL coming out right now is the quarterback movement. The quarterback carousel moved a notch.
Sure did.
I mean, there's still a few big players, there's still a few big horses on it, but the carousel moved a notch, and Mr. Andy Dalton has moved a notch.
He's in Dallas now.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And good for him. I would have to say good for him.
Sure.
I mean,
anybody getting out of Cincinnati, that's a plus move.
Cincinnati
Doesn't really matter where you go. I mean, you could have moved.
Woo, go Cowboys. Oh, wait, wrong picture. Sorry.
If Pompano had a professional football team and he came to Pompano from Cincinnati, that would have been an upgrade. So,
wow,
yeah.
Wow. Wait. I know some badass teams in Pompano. Careful.
Well,
what you think? Ely is the Girl Scouts? Ely got everybody.
Every year, talent.
Everybody. There's a lot of NFL talent coming out of Ely, pal. You better Ely and Dillard.
For years. Been that way since the 80s.
Okay. Well, and you can't say it's just a black school thing either, because they send a lot of big, scary white boys out of those schools.
And an occasional kicker.
So. And an occasional kicker.
Yeah, for sure. But Dalton's in Dallas. I mean, veteran quarterback, good signing for them. I mean, the whole thing about when people say, oh, great sign for Dallas, he's a backup quarterback. I mean, yes, he was a starter, but he was a starter for a franchise that was inept for many years on many levels for many reasons. Not Andy's fault, not his fault. I mean, still, again, if you listen to players, and that's what I like to key on, is not the media, not the BS you hear out there, is what players say about the players.
Yep.
And not a bad thing to say about Andy Dalton. Works hard, smart guy, good teammate, going to give you a effort all the time, been around, veteran, all that good stuff. So good for Dallas, good for Andy. And he may get a chance to play because Dak still don't have a friggin' contract. So, I mean, that's a whole issue with Dallas. Is they're just
okay? Well,
stuck
quick
in the
pause,
mud.
guys online. How's our audio? Hopefully, our audio isn't spiking. I've made some improvements. I've made some adjustments. Because the last few times we've uploaded, I've had to turn the volume way down, and I'm trying to be considerate to my audience. Trying to make sure that they don't, that every time the show comes on, they don't hear the theme and they have to immediately go down, volume down. So.
Well, if you're not listening to this in your library, then I didn't think it really shouldn't matter. Just turn the volume down.
Well, yeah, but I don't want anybody have to throw their headphones off.
Scare them.
You're
like, oh,
Yeah, I don't want to scare anybody, but
Gotcha.
But no, you're 100% right. This is definitely a great move for the Cowboys because it's insurance. They're going to sign Dak Prescott.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. First of all, the hullabaloo over this is definitely bred of the boredom, the lack of sports news. Okay, it's definitely bred. I mean, you look at even Des Bryant got in on this. Des Bryant hasn't caught a pass in, 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay, hasn't caught a pass in 3 years. Okay, but he's weighing in on this because I guess he's still a Dallas icon. Okay, and yes, you did make that catch. So we obviously see the value of the quarterback, positional value, which also happens to look at that, mimic fantasy. Okay, it mimics fantasy, the positional value. Okay, even at the level of backup, even on the second and the third strings, it's important as to who is there. Okay, it's important who is there. Okay, you know, Jameis took the backup job. Okay, and Teddy Bridgewater before him took the backup job. So I mean, backup in New Orleans is like rehab for quarterbacks right now. Mm-hmm. You know, for young quarterbacks that have either been injured and coming back, or have thrown 30 interceptions and coming back from that, and the backup position has grown in importance. That's for sure.
For sure.
Okay, it actually has grown in importance to the point where a guy who has been probably half his career has been at the backup as a second string quarterback is now the default starter in Miami, now going on the second year with Fitzpatrick. Okay, I mean we're talking about a guy who's come off the bench in Buffalo. He's come off the bench in New York. Everywhere he's come from, he's come off the bench. He came off the bench with the Bucs. Okay, when he had that streak of, what was it, 4 games or 5 games of 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah. Okay, he was subbing for Jameis. Okay, because Jameis was suspended. Okay, so we're talking about a guy who takes his chances, his opportunities, and that's the value of the quarterback now. You know, and we of course, attention, every time something moves in the quarterback world, the attention immediately, the eye of Sauron immediately shifts to Cam Newton. Where's Cam Newton? Where's Cam Newton going? What's happening with Cam Newton? Okay. And in his instance, he's going to have to adjust his mentality. He's not going somewhere to start.
Well, the problem with Cam, too, is that you would think that by now, if teams were interested in him, he would have had a job already. I mean, all this downtime with all these teams, and there are needs out there.
Oh, yeah.
So he would have already gotten signed, I would imagine, or at least considered. But when you have all these other quarterbacks that are being out there that are being taken and in the draft, it just seems like the direction is being shifted away from a guy like Cam.
Right.
So, I mean, that's unfortunate for Cam, but again, you kind of, you know, he is who he is, and the cards are on the table for Cam Newton. So he needs to change his style of play. He needs to change his focus. He needs to just make things a little bit different in Cam's world that may or hopefully apply to a team that, again, think about this. As the year progresses, there's attrition in football. Guys get hurt. I mean, there's a lot of things, positions open up.
He's waiting to be a franchise savior now.
Yeah, and that's probably the direction he's going to go. So,
you know, he's over there polishing up his angel wings. He's gonna show up to the first press conference with a halo, and he's gonna pull the Jesus move. He's gonna show up wearing a crown of thorns or something stupid like that.
Right.
You know, because he's artistic, I guess, or
eccentric.
Eccentric.
That could be a term.
Oh, you mean weird?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. The weird kid.
Yeah. But the thing is with Kim, and I've argued this about players like him, when you're always the best at what you do, even from a very young age, you're told that, people dote on you constantly from that point, and since you're always the best at every level, your work ethic can be potentially compromised. You don't have to push as hard. Because again, you're always faster, better, stronger. All these other God-given abilities are already there. The part that lacks is the work ethic, the attention to detail, because those things don't matter at those levels. So when you can carry that with you, unfortunately, I think that becomes a crutch, because it doesn't permit the environment for you to have to push and to
a little bit, yeah,
and have to be always the best in terms of like a Tom Brady type guy. And again, Tom Brady's the GOAT, but as an example, a guy that wasn't gifted with the physical abilities and the traits and the speed and the jumping and the strength and all these other things, but he beat you with his head. And he managed all the other aspects of his game so that even if he was at 80 or 85% physically compared to the rest of the quarterbacks or players in the league,
Right.
he was always going to be more prepared. He was always going to be mentally strong. He was always going to be first guy at the stadium, last guy to leave. Those are the intangibles that will separate you more so than just pure talent alone. Because everybody who plays football is talented. Everybody's got skills, whether it's strength, speed, agility, whatever it is that pertains to your specific position and skill set. But what sets you apart is your head and your attitude towards the game and how you handle pressure and in situations. And Cam Newton hasn't shown that side of him to be his strength.
That's true. I mean, listen, the instances where that equation came together would have to be at Auburn,
Right.
okay, where he was a monster.
Right.
He was a monster. You know, at that time at Auburn, he was trying to get out of the shadow of Tim Tebow because Tebow had the wonderful career and 2 national championships and almost won 2 Heisman trophies. He had to fight Tebow to get the second Heisman trophy. Okay, so and we're talking about a guy who had a monster season, monster. Okay, so I totally agree that your mindset gets a little skewed once you start to reach that mountaintop or you start to get to the top of the game, if you will, whatever the game is. Okay. I mean, the few times that I have been what could be considered the best at anything or number one at anything or the best option available at anything, okay, I personally never let that ever go to my head because once you are put in that position where you are the top, okay, whether you're the top-rated something or you're in the top position or you're considered to be the best in this field, okay, you've already set a standard for yourself. Never ever drop that standard.
Agree.
Never. If you got there with your brain and your work ethic and you have a nice butt and you have big blue eyes, okay, then you bring your brain, your work ethic, your ass, and your big blue eyes. Okay. If those got you there, you get you there. It's the same with football. If it's your brain, your arm, your legs, your ability to make reads, okay, your hand-eye coordination, okay, you better not let any of those slip, okay. And then when that work ethic slips, okay, when that work ethic that got you there starts to slip, then you see it. You see the slide, okay. Because when Tom Brady came to the NFL, number 199, all right. Dude was 21 years old and he had a dad bod. He literally had a dad bod. Okay, he looked like the guy who was barely the starter for the University of Michigan. Okay, and you look at his combine photo. Okay, you probably have a better physique than he had at his combine photo.
Thank you.
That's a compliment.
Thank you.
Considering he was less than half your age at the time. It's just because you lost a lot of weight from
Yeah, I
the
did get
Rona.
really thin.
The Rona took it out of
Yeah,
you.
but remember, though, the first thing that's going to erode is your physical traits.
Right.
So if you don't have the mental side of your game,
Right.
what's left after 6, 7, 8, 10 years in the league? You have to adapt and change.
Well, I believe it was Lloyd Carr, his college coach. Was it Lloyd Carr at the time? I believe it was Lloyd Carr. Lloyd Carr, the reason why Tom Brady got drafted at all, at 199, the only reason why he got drafted is because his coach said, this kid is really smart. You don't have to teach him anything twice. He never makes the same mistake twice. Okay? He's got a decent arm, and he throws on schedule, and he makes good reads. Okay, he goes through his progressions well. Listen, we never heard about progressions until about 2002, and one of the reasons why we never heard about it is because, you know, it started with the Tom Brady generation. Okay, nobody make your read the defense, and you know where. Nobody knew that your progression was going to be this receiver, that receiver, this receiver, that receiver. Okay, you know, but if you have a shot of a quarterback backing up and reading across, you can see he has an order that he's going in. But then he also does things like look safeties off, look these people over there, and then go back here. Okay, or if you're Patrick Mahomes, look these guys off and do that. Who's he throwing to? Not even the receiver knows the ball's coming. But Tom Brady is the ultimate instance of a guy who took his opportunity and it was in a position with a coach and a system that took advantage of his smarts. As a second-year guy, he did not come in and suddenly start throwing interceptions. As a second-year guy, he suddenly, you can always tell. If a guy drops back 1, 2, 3, throws on schedule, and he hits the grass, then there's nobody in the camera shot, okay? Then that means the quarterback and the receiver are totally not on the same page, okay? Even the defensive back wonder, where are you throwing the ball?
Yeah.
So that's a guy who came in and immediately could get it because he was smart, okay? And he got through that first season with his smarts, okay? I was there for Tom Brady's first start in Miami, okay? And even though I think we picked him off twice, they still managed to win because he converted third downs. I think he had like 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But he converted third downs. He didn't have sloppy turnovers. You can believe that those interceptions were from the defensive players making smart plays on the ball. Okay? And he cleaned those up as the season went along, and they won the Super Bowl. Okay? Because he was a smart quarterback. And then the dude turned around and went like all 21st century, athlete with supplements and diet.
Yeah, he understood that part of his game was going to need to improve as well.
And went right to work on it.
Yeah.
And then, broke up with his really hot actress girlfriend and started dating a supermodel. And, I'm kind of glad I get to cheer for him now. Because, boy, I just, Patriots.
You know what I'm cheering for? I'm not cheering for Tom Brady necessarily. I'm cheering for the story. I'm cheering for the fact that it's a change. It's good for the NFL.
Validation?
To some degree. But again, I don't think you need validation. I mean, where they came from, the whole Patriots thing, Ken Brady went without Belichick. Ken Belichick went without Brady. The point is they won together. You can go through all the sports, all the dynasties. You needed all these teams and coaches and organizations. They needed each other to get to the points of the levels in which they achieved that success.
For sure.
The Lakers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, and hockey, the Canadians. Every organization that has run dynasties, if the pieces weren't whole, if the puzzle wasn't complete, they wouldn't be dynasties, okay? And to complete the puzzle, it's the coaching. It's the players. It's the organization as a whole. It's the scouting. It's the vendors. It's every single piece in that puzzle that makes it work. Okay, that's what's important about when you have a dynasty. That's the reason why. You can't have pieces missing and run those periods of successes for that long and be that dominant in your particular sport unless everything is gelling together.
Take a look at the chat room right here at the bottom. Say hi to Terry.
Hey, Terry. Glad you're feeling better, buddy.
You're still alive.
Glad you're feeling better.
He's still alive. He's still alive.
Yes, he is.
You, my friend, with your videos, which, by the way, bravo for your bravery. Videos from ICU, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
You probably did more to show people, all of your friends, put me on point, because at that time I was, huffing and puffing and pissed off and bored. I was pissed off and bored, and that's even with this guy getting it. Scary as that was. Okay, I was pissed off and bored, and you dropped your video, and you're like, "I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna get through it." And I said, shit. Because Terry is my size, and I have far more unhealthy habits than he does. So, it made me worry about myself. Day by day, brother, that's for sure. Well, we love you. And we know we're super happy for you. And that you continue to get stronger every day. And get through this. About the time that you're probably going to be over it, you'll probably be able to start taking work again. And you'll have the antibodies. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to run a pick line and steal your blood. Because Matt's out of antibodies now, right? Did you get the antibody test yet?
I got my results back. It's negative, but there's no specific test yet to see if I can go donate plasma. I've been chasing everybody.
I thought there was an antibody test.
Not that I've known, not that I've been able to call. I got a letter.
Google it.
I got a letter from the Florida Health Department saying that I'm clear. My next step was to call
It's the only reason your ass is here.
Broward Health and to potentially talk to them about maybe seeing about going down there and again testing for the antibodies. But I'm telling you, when you call, you chase and you get on hold, and then even a few times I've been disconnected. It's a nightmare. Tomorrow, and I talked about this with my wife, I've got a few phone calls to make, but that's one of them, is to contact Broward Health, see whatever my potential next step could be to get my stuff out there to potentially help some people. So, but the crazy part is that letter that I got, they couldn't even email me a letter confirmation. They had to send it in the mail. It took me a week to get the letter. I just got it, I think Wednesday or Thursday.
It's
it's been a
definitely
mess.
a
It's been a mess. So,
and yes, I said fustercluck. I'm trying really, really hard not to curse on this show this time because I was a bad boy last week and I had a potty mouth, and I'm trying to be more professional because eventually I'm going to shave all of this this quarantine crap off my head and face, and I'm going to send out air checks and headshots and voiceover demos, and I'm going to attempt to broaden my occupational base while I'm having this downtime. Yeah, because I'm not delivering food again. I delivered food when I was 19, and I barely tolerated it then. And
that's a tough racket.
It's just nobody wants me delivering food. No, you don't. You don't want me delivering your food. Okay, you know what a gravity pie is or a speed pie is in the jargon in the pizza business. Viewers, could you, if you viewers could weigh in, could you tell Matt what a speed pie is for those of you who have delivered pizza before in this life? Explain what a speed pie is or a gravity pie, a gravity pizza is. Okay.
I mean, I'm kind of putting it together in my head what it could be, but
why? What do you think it could be?
Well, if it's in terms of a delivery and a pizza, it probably relates to the handling of the pizza on its way to your home. That would be my best guess.
You're okay. You're in there.
Yeah. So again, I worked at pizza restaurants when I was around that time.
Did you deliver though?
Actually, I did for a short time, but not very often. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I cannot see myself going back to work for Domino's Pizza. I quit them 30. Wow, I quit them 31 years ago. And that was just a jobby job. Went in another direction with life. So
tough job.
Which got me here.
The whole restaurant industry on its own is just a tough industry.
So I can't do that. So I'm going to be getting more into the broadcasting and vocal work field. Imagine in a world. So it's wow. I'm really weirding myself out on Facebook Live. Well, anyway, a speed pie or a gravity pie is a pizza with all the cheese and everything slid to one side because you drive like a friggin' maniac.
Yeah, or hit the brakes really hard.
Or you hit the brakes really hard. Yeah.
I figured it was along those lines.
Maniac.
Yeah.
Lunatic. Yeah. No, of course, I blame it on everybody else.
I'd be more concerned about something I read a while back about the percentage of people or the percentage of times that your food actually gets messed with. Or like if you get like a large fry and the guy takes two, as he's on his way to your house, that sort of stuff. And I'd read up to maybe 10%, they estimate, of the deliveries in some form get, for lack of better words, tampered with. Now, I'm not saying your guy's spitting in your pizza. But what I'm saying is that, hey, piece of pepperoni, that looks pretty good. Take a piece of that. Or maybe a fry. I'll take a fry out of the bag, sort of thing.
I'm going to say that it probably happens a whole lot less frequently now because everybody is so hemmed up about the cooties.
Yeah. Plus, a lot of businesses are sealing their packages and sealing their bag. But again, it's still a big number. If it's not 10%, if it's half that, if it's 5%, that's still a scary number. It's still gross.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, enough of the creepy talk now.
Yeah.
Let's get on to this whole concept about Las Vegas.
Yes,
wanting to be the hub of the centralized hub of sports.
Consider it like a biodome, okay? The head of MGM, the conglomerate that is mostly controlling all of Vegas.
I've been there. You have a lovely hotel.
And all that stuff. Stepped away from that position a few weeks back and was responsible now for heading the COVID response team, essentially, for the state of Nevada. Okay?
Smart dude.
Very smart. He was at MGM for 12 years.
He's the one that gathered that group and made MGM the big player.
Super smart. Well,
what is that resort group they have or whatever? He's the guy that came up with that idea.
Mandalay Bay and all that whole
they own
huge
5
thing.
major hotels. Guess
Yeah.
what? They're all part of the group now.
Yes.
Everybody enjoys the same perks.
Here's kind of
Smart dude.
what they kind of proposed out there. And again, they're talking to some of the leagues now. This will include the NBA, the WNBA, MSL, MMA, and I don't know the other sport. But
you know that Vince McMahon's going to get in on it now because he's like, I
Perhaps.
have another place I can wrestle.
what they want to do is basically shut down a city block in Vegas, okay? Create this sterilized biodome sort of environment where they will house not only the athletes, but training, support staff, families, anybody that's responsible for obviously managing and working in this environment. So anything from hotel staff, they're basically going to just close it in, shut it down, and create an environment of where they could still operate, in their terms, safely, the sports. In terms of the basketball, every year they hold the WNBA finals in Vegas.
Right.
So they have the ability to build, I've read, 25 basketball courts, of which they'll use about 8 of them for the actual games.
Right.
And the rest of them they'll share for practice facilities for the teams and such like that.
Right. Well, practice gyms are usually 2 basketball courts side by side.
Sure. I mean, again, they'll make it work. But so this is the plan they're trying to do, because right now Vegas unemployment's like 25-30%.
Tell me about it.
Everybody's hurting. Trickle effect is just really, really bad. Plus, there's no sports. So they're being creative in the sense that they're trying to do this. Now, again, the logistics of this it just seems monumental. And again, approvals and stuff like that. But again, when you get the right people pushing the right buttons, and you got this guy who is obviously tied into both sides, it's interesting. They're in the talks right now. They're trying to get some things worked out. Whether or not it'll happen or not for these particular sports, they're kind of against the clock, clearly. It's not like football where they've got a few months still in terms of to hopefully let these things kind of play themselves out. So, again, these teams and these organizations and leagues are trying to be somewhat, to protect their own and still put a product out there that's still viable, that still generates money, and still can get in our living room so we can watch some sports again. Keep you posted because, again, it's somewhat preliminary, I would imagine, so there's a lot of details to be worked out. But interesting concept. But, again, like you said earlier, once you're in this biodome atmosphere, once you're in, you're in. I mean, there's no leaving. Like, you don't go home to your house, at the end of the day. I mean, so you're
now
talking about...
can't leave.
You're talking about... I mean, there's over 4,700 hotel rooms, I think, in that kind of district area, 1 block radius of all the hotels. Mandalay Bay. I mean, I'm not familiar with Vegas, but
Where
never
do
been
I
there.
apply?
Very interesting. But once you're there, it's like lockdown. So until they, I guess,
I can be the intro announcer.
assume
I can be,
that it's safe to leave again, or things get back to normal, whenever normal is going to be. Or
you could just hear me on the microphone. Absolutely nobody. Here's your starting lineup.
yeah, you're stuck. So that's basically what it is.
Ladies
So
and gentlemen at home in front of your televisions.
once you're there, you're there.
Here's your starting lineup for your Miami Heat. There's no Heat. Heat. Yeah,
Lock it down.
It's an interesting concept. They just had they just had a tennis tournament, like a minor league tennis tournament, that was kind of creepy. That the court was enclosed, and the umpire wasn't even on the court. The umpire was like back behind like one of the barriers.
You have a shield.
Yeah, right.
He carries around one of them.
No, but they did use a lot of instant replay and camera angles and stuff like that.
I'm sure.
So
I'm sure.
it's going to be a very strange and funny time.
You know
for
what's
sports.
interesting too? Let's just talk about baseball, for instance. you're obviously trying to limit the amount of contact between humans in terms of what everybody is on the field. So they've been talking about for years and getting rid of the umpires and having the electronic strike zones and stuff like that. You know, there are companies out there right now that are pushing the technology to be first in line to implement some of these, for lack of better terms, radical ideas in some of these sports. But you know what? They're not so radical anymore.
Nope.
Because now they become almost a necessity.
Yep.
Almost something that becomes imperative in order to continue or at least get the ball rolling for some of these sports. So you wonder in terms of how much this is going to fast track some of that electronic innovation, in terms of these sports, in terms of baseball for sure. And I don't know, just an excuse almost to get those things started. I'm not a big fan of that sort of innovation in sports. I like the human interaction, the contact, not old school philosophy. I get it. You need changes, you need upgrades, you need stuff like that. But I'm not sure I want a computer calling my balls and strikes in baseball.
You want that Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own type of, has anybody ever tell you look like a penis in a little hat? One of those deals.
What would Jim Leland do? Come out and scream and just unplug the computer if he got really pissed off? Have to charge the field, look for somebody, and then look for an outlet and just go out and plug it.
We're talking to a guy who cursed through his mustache too. So you son of a.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? You kick dirt on the keyboard, it short circuits and starts to fire, and they got to abandon it. I mean, it's just you need the human interaction in these sports.
I heard him and this was early '98. This was after we won, and he was still the manager. I had to be sitting 13th, 14th row, I think it was, off the first base line, and he came out to argue, and you could hear him clear as day. Just RUFK, are you kidding me? Use dumps.
Yeah.
I mean, just call it in. I'm like, if I was the umpire, I'm not even the umpire, and I want him to throw. He's my manager, and I'm like, you throwing him out? Umpire took it from him. Took it. He came out. He got his money's worth, and he harumphed all the way back to. I was like, okay, that's a little human interaction right there. So yeah, you cannot over. You cannot over automate, I guess. Yeah, automate. You can't over automate. You can't load baseball down with technology. Then you lose the soul of the game.
Agree.
I mean, okay.
Innovation's good, but not to the point where you're losing.
Right. Here's what you can do. Okay. You could come up with a 3-dimensional strike zone. They already have it. Okay, 3-dimensional strike zone. Throw the ball in the strike zone. It's a strike. Beep, strike. Beep, strike.
Yeah, but it changes for every batter, though, too. Remember the concept of what used to be letters to
so
knees.
it should be adjustable for each batter as well. But if the batter thinks he's going to step back and stay way back, 3 or 4 inches more than it's going to give, no, because if you step back, that strike zone is still going to be within a uniform area. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're 6'5", okay, and you're stepping in, or you're 6'7", like Judge. Okay, you step in. Okay, your letter height, your chest high letter height is going to be higher than that little cheater Altuve. Okay,
I like the little cheater part, by the way. Thank you.
Is any sports organization happier about a worldwide existential crisis at this time that is threatening the actual playing of the season, where people were literally going,
we can't wait.
They're warming up their boos.
Right.
They were getting they're just going to boo them off the field every game, every time. They were just ready, and it was like, oh, look, here's a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody look over here. Here's a disaster.
Good point.
Okay, nobody is happier.
Well, me and Trevor Bauer are not going to allow that to happen. We're going to keep it fresh in everybody's minds.
Me too. I'm going to help
as much as we possibly can. But you're right, though. People's memories are short.
Cheaters.
They tend to forget, and they just kind of let things go.
This is going to make a whole lot of people forget, because people are just going to be happy to see baseball.
You know what? There's credence to that.
It's just they're going to be happy to see baseball.
Yeah, there's credence to that.
They just will. Okay, you will see Yankee fans stand up, shut up. you will see Yankee fans
Stand up and shut up.
no that will stand up and cheer for the Boston Red Sox. They will continue their standing ovation once baseball comes back to Yankee Stadium. It doesn't matter who it is.
True.
They are going to cheer. Why? Because you're here.
Yeah,
because I'm here.
Yeah, it's going to
because we're here.
Opening day is going to be pretty amazing
Yeah,
for all these sports.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, people are going to be in the stands crying, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I went whatever.
6 feet apart, though, of course.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I went to go see the Dolphins play the week after 9/11. Okay, and by the way, all of my various members of my network, I don't know if you've noticed, but we're on the air, so I'd appreciate it if you held your text messages and your notifications and all of the stuff that makes my phone go bing, 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 which I've had just had a, it's my fault. I didn't turn it down, but
Or diggity.
later,
Diggity.
wait. Everybody's got to wait till after 12 o'clock for everything. Anyway, like I was saying, I went, and when we got the flyover and the Star Spangled Banner, okay, you could not see for 360 degrees all 76,000 people. I mean, just there was tears flowing down the aisle like it was raining. I mean, just we were sniveling. It was an emotional, snot bubble type of a America moment. Okay, because we were out in defiance.
Yeah.
Okay, because everybody was scared crapless. Haha, I didn't say it. But everybody was afraid of the potential of a terrorist attack. Everybody's like, oh, you're going to get large groups of people. They're going to attack again. Okay, but we went out. We showed out. And as this disaster unfolds and as this disaster calms down, we're going to show out again.
I agree.
We are. I'll go to a ball game tomorrow. Okay? I'm not being ignorant. There's an argument for herd immunity. There's an argument for mass testing. There's an argument for all of that. And the sooner that we get our selfish heads out of our selfish asses, okay, as soon as we start using the practical solutions for this without bitching and whining and, oh, no. You're delaying the inevitable. This is now something ubiquitous in our society, so let's get on with society. Okay? I want to go to a damn baseball game. Okay? It's not selfish of me to want to go to a damn baseball game. It's part of my life. I want to go to a football game. That's coming up. Okay? Sorry, the virus is ubiquitous in our world.
I miss highlights.
Right?
Highlights.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm tired of seeing highlights and recounts of stuff that I've already seen. Some of it live from the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was watching putt-putt golf yesterday from
Me
like
too,
2002.
the Ocho, the
Oh
Ocho.
my gosh. How painful was that?
That was awesome.
My favorite part of that
my
was the
God,
guy
we are so
standing in the
sad.
back watching
We
it
are
with
so
no
sad.
shirt on. Did
No
you see
shirt
it?
on, wearing Birkenstocks.
Oh, it was amazing.
The kid in a towel.
It was amazing.
The kid in a towel for a half an hour.
That's
the kid
TV.
in a towel.
That's TV right there.
That was like early 90s.
Was it that early? I thought it was
Yeah.
like early 2000s, but it could have been. I mean, time's a blur.
They had to have something to put on ESPN
oh
too.
my gosh. Yeah, it was painful.
Come on. Stupid robot fighting league. It was two guys with sticks, with junk on the end of the sticks,
Sign me up.
poking at each other.
Yeah, sign me up.
So, we're going to get there. I mean, we really are. I mean, and hopefully we get there before the aliens attack.
Oh boy, but I got a few more football things we want to discuss before we get to the aliens. 'Cause we got aliens stuff. We didn't discuss about
Segue denied. Deflected.
just not ready yet because there's something was circling in my
I
mind.
have more to say about football. No. You have the floor. What is it?
The Packers.
The Packers. Oh, the drama.
What did they do?
The ironic drama.
They took a quarterback in the first round. Okay.
How's that feel, Aaron Rodgers?
Wow.
How does it feel to be Brett Favre?
Here's what I will say. Like any other sport, football is a sport we've talked about where all the pieces have to be in place. Okay, the puzzle has to be complete for you to be successful. Every team goal is to win a championship. So if you look back 2 years ago, and I'll go back 2 years ago to my beloved Steelers, one of the best teams on paper coming into the season, okay? But their offseason was filled with what? A bunch of noise. Contract disputes with Le'Veon Bell. Obviously, there was a lot of in-house stuff with Antonio Brown and Ben. Okay, so talent didn't supersede the issues that the team had. And obviously, guess what? Steelers didn't make the playoffs that year. Okay? Last year, you had the Cleveland Browns came into the season. Oh, the talent, Odell and Chubb and Landry and the quarterback with Baker and all this other stuff. On paper, phenomenal. The Cowboys, same thing. Just, again, on paper, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, okay, the coaching, everything's in place. Dak was coming off his best year, but there was not any sort of sync in that locker room, okay? And you had noise in the offseason. What happened? Two more very talented teams didn't make the playoffs. This year you got the Packers, who I thought last year took a step forward, okay? They didn't put everything on Rodgers' shoulders. They ran the ball more. They played better defense.
They went to the NFC Championship game.
So, and now they go and take a quarterback in the first round, okay? They take a first-round pick who I would imagine for most teams is a guy that you're counting on pretty heavily in the moment, okay? Not so much down the road. That's one. Two, they paid Aaron Rodgers the most money of any player in football 2 years ago. So he's not going anywhere. And if they did, they would take a tremendous cap hit that would cripple the franchise for 3 or 5 years. What are they doing? Okay, Aaron Rodgers is clearly displeased. He's clearly behind the scenes, and some public he has said some things that would make you think like he's a little pissed off.
No, wait. Let me step up in here real quick here, okay? Have we heard from Aaron Rodgers himself?
I think his agent called him and said.
Have we heard from Aaron Rodgers himself?
I haven't seen much in terms of that. I mean, but the good thing is that with all the pressure mounting, he hasn't said anything positive either.
But he's never been shy. But all we've heard is a little meow 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 out of his agent, and a little coffee clatch gossip out of Brett Favre.
Okay.
Who's
very tied in still to the organization.
Right, but that's still. Do we really think that Brett Favre didn't spit out what was in his mouth in a spit take when that pick came up, and he's sitting there and he's taking a drink of, and with the 25th pick in the first round, the Green Bay Packers select Jordan Love, quarterback.
Oh yeah. Twitter, real quick. Obviously. Shocking move.
Red Gatorade, beer, whatever it was, light beer, he's all over the place.
Maybe this virus is creating some havoc. I mean, like, for instance, trading Deshaun Watson.
But he's gossiping. I'm telling you right now, he's gossiping.
Some of these coaches are making some of these decisions that I don't know. Bill O'Brien.
Head scratchers?
Houston. Yeah. I mean, like, I just don't know. But again, it doesn't seem... If most people aren't going to make a particular decision, there's a reason for it. Right. So when everybody comes out and takes a stand against something,
right.
And again, it just doesn't look right. The optics aren't good. You question it on pretty much every single level. Why would you put yourself in that position? Why would you take the most important player on your team and create flux in that position? Okay, it just makes no sense to me at all. And again, I don't think NFL franchises are in a position to play games, okay? There's got to be a reason to the madness. I don't know what it is. I don't know anybody else who's come out and said that they know what it is. But apparently there is reason somewhere. So all I'm saying is that talent alone in the NFL doesn't win you football games, okay? You have to be complete on every level from top to bottom. And if you have flux in the most important position on your team with one of the players that is not necessarily known to be a guy, especially more recently in his career, that is always on the same page as your coaching staff, as your organization, as the teammates and stuff like that, like Aaron Rodgers has not been. He's labeled as this freelance guy. He kind of deviates from the playbook and all this.
Well, he was on the same He was on the same page with Taylor this year, though. What is this?
The
LaFleur,
OC,
right?
yeah.
LaFleur.
Okay, right.
LaFleur.
But
he was on the same page with his young coach.
But I'm talking about game style in terms of decision making on the field. Okay, granted, you could be friends, you could be in the meeting rooms and have a plan in place.
Right.
But when you potentially consistently deviate from that plan, on your own accord, okay, again, that's not a sense of cohesiveness within that team and organization.
Right.
And you have to have that to be complete in order for that team to reach its maximum potential.
Okay.
And I just, again, don't think that a move like this is going to induce that sort of cohesiveness. I just don't see how that happens. But let it play out. To me, again, going back on what we said about the Steelers and their issues in the offseason, the Browns, the Dallas last year, to me, Green Bay this year is that team for me. Going into the year, especially with all the other stuff that's going on around us, with all the uncertainty, all they did was just muddy the waters even further, in my opinion. And that's not a good recipe for success, not in the NFL.
Okay. Since we're drawing parallels to the ironic occasion that it had happened before with Brett Favre, we're drawing that parallel. Let us remember that Brett Favre, I know just remembering off the top of my head without having to Google it, Brett Favre took that team in the 3 years, and it was 3 years, 3 seasons that Rodgers backed him up until he finally left. Okay, he took that team to the NFC Championship at least once, if not twice. Okay, and the presence of Aaron Rodgers didn't affect Brett Favre at all. Okay, they didn't give each other the stink eye on the sidelines.
They weren't friends, though.
But they were teammates.
All right, I know.
Okay?
I know.
You know, you don't have to go out to the same strip club. You don't have to go out to the same restaurants. You don't have to cheer for the same, baseball teams or whatever. You don't have to be buddies, but you have to work well together. Okay, and being a good team, high-fiving. Okay, jumping, having a really good time, congratulating yourself. He comes right over and talks to Aaron Rodgers after a good play. Okay, he wasn't a threat. Okay, he didn't take it as a threat, and he also didn't take it as a motivation, because Brett Favre was already motivated. Like I said, it's that those boxes you check off.
Sure.
Okay, work ethic, motivation, mentality. Okay, his mentality was still Brett Favre, and if Aaron Rodgers wants to be smart about this, being the highest paid player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay, if he wants to be smart about this, he is still he's still Aaron Rodgers. He's still Aaron Rodgers.
Or Buck Rodgers, him too. Yeah.
But he's still Aaron Rodgers.
Buck Rodgers is coming next.
And they still, they still win the division. They still go to the playoffs. They still win ball games. Okay, because he's Aaron Rodgers, and you just stay Aaron Rodgers, and everything's going to work out. Yeah. It worked out for Favre.
Jordan Love is not a threat to Aaron Rodgers.
No.
He's not going to take the field away from Aaron Rodgers.
No.
I understand that. But again, optically and in this environment and in this situation, and because of who Aaron Rodgers is, I don't think he's got the same demeanor and personality as Brett Favre. I think he's unique in that sense. And again, a lot of players have said this about him. He's kind of a standalone guy. And he's not so much the rah-rah, teammate friendly and positive all the time guy that maybe Brett Favre is. Brett Favre is
he's California cranky.
Again, in that if you're an organization, you already know that about Aaron Rodgers. So you already know
anybody from California. Do you know people from California?
Not particularly. I'm an East Coast guy.
There's a reason why Saturday Night Live did a sketch called The Californians. Okay, California is this big, beautiful state. Up and down the line, the cultures change all through the state, even more so than Texas, even more so than New York, even more so than Florida. Okay, up and down from the northern border to the southern tip, bordering on Mexico, they have just different cultures. Okay, and Aaron is a Northern California kind of guy, and those people are very. Their laid back is very lizard brainish, very look at you like unflappable, and blink at you, like a cat, and they're very okay, sure, and it comes off a little standoffish at times, and I think that if Aaron Rodgers wants to make this right and shut everybody up, he takes a big selfie with Jordan Love. Look, we're studying the playbook.
Yeah.
Ah! Boom! It dies.
I agree.
If he does, because And once again, let me debunk this idea that Brett Favre spent 3 years staring daggers and being salty to Aaron Rodgers.
Favre.
No. Brett Favre
Right.
spent 3 years being salty with Aaron Rodgers. No. He was salty with Rodgers when he first came in as a rookie because everybody craps on rookies.
Sure.
Okay? So he got the rookie treatment from the veteran quarterback. And you notice that Aaron Rodgers didn't, like, cry and leave. Okay? It is what it is.
Well, he's got to pay his dues.
Right. And the second year, he learned a little more. And Aaron Rodgers will be the first person to tell you, all I had to do was be there to learn. I didn't have to go ask him questions, but every time I asked him a question, he had an answer. Okay? He didn't necessarily come over to me and say, here, this is how that's done. But if you're in the quarterback room and you're going over the playbook and you're going over the game plan, okay, if you have a question or if he thinks you need to know something, he will tell you. Okay? A lot of people made a big deal about Brett Favre saying he didn't want to be a mentor. Okay? No, he didn't have to be a mentor. Okay? Half of being a mentor is being a mentee. Stepping up and taking the information, paying attention to the information, learning the lesson. A lot of people just want to sit there and just, teach me, throw the knowledge at my face. Maybe some of it will go in a hole here. I'll turn my head and you can throw some of it in here. Okay, no, you have to be there. You have to participate.
Agree.
Okay, so I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to do a little better job if he's not a hypocrite. Are you a hypocrite, bro? Are you? Is he? Are you Rodgers? Are you a hypocrite, bro?
I guess we'll see when camp opens finally.
Exactly.
Eventually, whenever it does. So we'll
Exactly.
see how they respond. It's just on the surface, the optics and what you're hearing. It just didn't seem like
I think it's a board sports media.
the right thing.
I think it's a
Could be.
board sports media. There's a lot going on where there's a board sports media because they don't have enough bones to chew on.
You know what? Here's another angle. Unless they thought they were just that good that they didn't see anybody necessarily at that position in the draft that was going to help their team now anyway. Maybe they felt like they were okay.
Devin Funches is our guy.
So we'll see.
They did though. Hey, they picked up Devin Funches.
I'm holding steady with my off-season drama with the Packers, parlaying into that to a very tumultuous season and with issues potentially, and them falling short of expectations. So we'll see how that plays
Marcus
out.
Valdez-Scantling, he's the dude.
Anybody with 3 names, to me, technically.
You got to go with a hyphen.
And a guy, if you get a hyphen on your jersey, then
Yep.
you deserve to be there.
That's the dude right there.
For sure, yeah.
All right. Now, Clinton Ha-Ha Clinton Dix. Ooh, his name is Ha-Ha, and it's Clinton Dix. Okay.
Birth certificate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's legit.
Make a doctor go,
That's like Meta World Peace.
really?
Yeah. Nice name.
No, that's made up. That Ha-Ha Clinton Dix was done at birth.
Yeah.
Really, Mrs. Clinton Dix? You really want Ha-Ha? Okay. Anything else?
Sports related?
Yeah.
I miss it. It's coming back.
Well, I itch my nose.
Soon, hopefully. I don't know. Football, I think, is going to be the safest of all the sports just because of the timing wise, and they don't start every year till September anyway. So hopefully by then we'll have things figured out. But I think basketball, regardless of what we talked about earlier about the Vegas thing, I think they're in trouble for the season. Baseball will play eventually, I think, but they'll have to make modifications and shorten their season. And pretty much those are the 2 sports we'll be watching, hopefully by September. So we'll see how things play out.
Hockey's done.
Probably only because of the revenue streams are a lot less. I think they'll probably just accept taking it on the chin for 1 year,
Yeah.
and then coming back with a revised, stronger plan next year under much safer, better, more economically favorable terms.
When you can have a crowd.
Yeah, and you'll have other sports like MMA will survive. Boxing, car racing starts next week. They're going to put 7 races in 3 weeks and get that back. So again,
Can't wait.
timing affected the sports differently based upon what their seasons were at that time anyway. It's just wherever the calendar
I'm tired
was.
of virtual sports.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it. We were talking about they had a virtual Kentucky Derby with like all the all-time great horses, all the all-time great thoroughbreds in the history of racing. And did you really think that Secretariat wasn't going to win? Was there even a doubt? I mean,
There'd be anarchy in the sport of horse racing.
Listen, in organized team sports, you guys can make arguments about Jordan's the GOAT. this guy's the GOAT. That guy's the GOAT.
Babe Ruth and
Babe Ruth.
Yeah, all these other- yeah.
Okay, you can make all these arguments left and right, era to era. Okay, but horse racing is, okay, as simple as that. That's the best. And I believe Secretariat had 2 or all 3 Triple Crown track records that still stand today.
Yeah.
How can you not? I mean, you should have taken him out of it. You should have called it the Secretariat Stakes. Okay?
Yeah.
You should have called it the Secretariat Stakes. Because he was, and I say he didn't win it by enough. I believe it was Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and War Admiral were 1, 2, 3, something like that. Okay? It was like boom, boom, boom. And there was only like a 3-second difference. Like, what do you want, drugs?
Well, don't mention that because
That horse,
possibly. Who knows?
yeah, and we also discussed about how horse racing was a little different back then.
A lot different
You
back
know, I
then.
mean, you feed the horse a gallon of coffee before race time, you
Yeah.
know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Little, you know, but I don't think that the medical science was so good that they could, you know, hurt the horses.
Here's what's amazing
You
about
couldn't
what
game them up that bad.
about the just I mean, if you want to call it statistics and what he did as accomplishments so many years ago. The science in horse racing today is leaps and bounds beyond the science that it was then.
Right.
And yet his records then still stand today.
Destroy.
So, I mean, travel conditions were different. The science, again, behind the sport was different. So, again, I don't like to compare different athletes and stuff like that and calling this horse an athlete to different generations because
Right.
the variables were so different. Conditions were so different.
Right.
But he was at a disadvantage compared to the horses of today.
Right.
And yet still his accomplishments are still the top of that field, are still the best, are still the bar essentially in horse racing.
Oh, yeah.
So again, it's flipped. If he was racing today and you say, oh, he was better than the horses 40 years ago, you could make a little sense there. But it's the other way around. He's better than the horses today.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, that's what I'm saying. That again leads to me and just makes more sense in terms of how dominant that racehorse was.
Well, you if you go go to YouTube and Google his Triple Crown races, all 3 of them. Okay, what you're going to see is a horse that is clearly larger than the other horses in the field. He is huge. There's always been speculation that he had some sort of a genetic anomaly. Okay, being a thoroughbred racehorse, you're supposed to have a pure bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
He had some sort of genetic anomaly that made him larger and more muscular than a normal horse,
Sure.
a normal thoroughbred, which are already bred to be large and muscular to begin with. These are speed machines. This Secretariat was an absolute beast, absolute beast. I mean, the equivalent would be to have an Olympic track meet, and you have all the great track runners from history, and then you add a guy like Isaiah Simmons, linebacker for Clemson, who now plays for Carolina, is it? Yeah, or
Yeah, he was a 5th taken overall, wasn't
yeah,
he?
no, not 5th. No, Isaiah Simmons. No, he's like the 8th taken or 9th.
Was he 8th? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
You take a
I
guy
had him a
like
little higher.
Isaiah Simmons, who is clearly 20% larger than all these guys running track. And he is an absolute beast. And he runs as fast or faster or ridiculously much faster. And he only gets faster as the track gets longer.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, seriously.
A matter of fact, again, with him, in one of his Belmont races, they said that each furlong he raced in that race, his times got faster.
Faster.
So, I mean, it's totally flip-flops, just science in sports in general, how dominant
He was a
really
freak.
Yeah, no question.
He was an anomaly.
No question.
I think he got a little Clydesdale in him. That's the reason why I got that muscle structure. Because
Could have
you take a look at this horse, okay, and I think I do have a picture of him. This is the only horse I've ever kept a picture of. Okay, Big Red has a chest, I kid you not, that is 6 feet wide. I mean, the front of that horse from shoulder to shoulder, 6 feet wide. I mean, 6 feet wide.
Massive.
And it's all cut, ripped, shredded muscle.
Yep.
Okay, there was not an ounce of fat on that horse. So you were looking at the goat. Sorry, cross-species joke. You're looking at the goat.
Not offensive.
Okay, but steer it.
Four legs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they stand up together.
You're looking at the goat.
Yep.
Okay, you need to take him out of there so that the Seattle Slews and the Sea Biscuits and all those other horses that are either smaller or skinnier or whatever are slower, just all slower. You needed to take him out of that, Mr. Virtual Sports. God, the Preakness. He ran out of the camera frame. He left the field behind
incredible.
So far that the camera had to pull back to see he's coming down the home stretch. They're still over in turn 3.
Yeah.
They're still over in the third turn. The last horse is just clearing turn 3 when he's in the stretch. Furlong and a half? Who does that?
Incredible.
And there were no tomato can horses in that. And you think the practice of saving a horse, putting a fresh horse in the later races in the Triple Crown, but I'm sure that half those horses, that was their first race in a month or 2 months. They didn't run in the Belmont. They didn't run in the Kentucky Derby, and they stuck them in there. And guess what? He crushed them, destroyed them. Period. He's okay. Let me give you. He's the Michael Jordan of horse racing.
Okay, for sure.
Okay.
Definitely top of the class.
Period.
Yeah.
Because if you turn Michael Jordan loose in today's NBA, his agent was totally right. He would score 50, 60 points every game. He would absolutely destroy people. And people would be crying because you can't body up. You could body up on him back then.
Oh, yeah, no
the
question.
Jordan rules for the Pistons.
His
body
road,
up on him.
the game style was much different back then.
Yeah.
It was 3-on-1 every night, essentially, in the lane.
If Dan Marino played in today's NFL,
yeah.
he probably wouldn't break a sweat because all he'd do is he would stand there back in the shotgun.
Yeah.
He would go, huh? Boom.
You can't even hand check in the NBA anymore. So it's it's a different game.
Yeah, it's a different game. It's
Yeah.
a totally different game. So there you go. Your virtual sports, although they are fun to look at, I get a little slice of reality with that.
Sure.
Can we get a little Sousson? Be real, dude. And another thing that we're seeing, and this is great. This is one of the things I love about virtual sports. You're seeing kids playing pro athletes in tournaments and beating them, and these pro athletes are having hissy fits because little kids are beating them. It's great. It's awesome. You never get the camera on the kid until you get an athlete involved, and these kids just school them. It's hilarious.
It's their moment in the sun.
They've got what would they have? They had open wheel racing the other day. Yesterday they had open wheel racing, Formula One racing, and they had one of the Montoya kids. One of Montoya, who Juan Carlos Montoya, I think it was. His son, his 15-year-old son, qualified, came up through qualification races and was racing with the pros yesterday, and doing well. So, the virtual sports world, you better watch out. You better don't let it get too popular. It gets too popular, some of y'all are going to get replaced.
There's huge money in it right now,
Huge.
too. I mean, these gamers and stuff, for a lack of better terms, are killing it across all of the esports type stuff. Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Rocket League, League of Legends. I mean, these are all global sports right now.
There was an NBA player who got pissed off and broke his keyboard because he lost a Call of Duty. I guess it was a one-on-one battle or whatever it was.
It's
and he
intense.
got mad because a kid beat him and he smashed his keyboard. It's like,
I believe it. I believe it.
oh yeah, it's a wonderful day. So how about them aliens?
Hey, how about them? Wow. Again, not here to persuade you in any direction, but I will say, why are you seeing so many more things come out now that it's been out there, the Roswells and the stories, and we're
You
storming.
mean this?
Yeah. Whoa. Hey, what is that? That's a video of a something
This has
weird.
been declassified by the Pentagon.
Yes.
You haven't seen this yet?
Oh no, I've seen it many a times. Yes.
Many a times. This is
Yeah.
from 2015.
I've read the firsthand
From a while
accounts
back.
of the USS I don't remember the actual naval ship that was out there at the time that took this footage, as long as some of the pilots that were on that. Pretty amazing stuff. I will say this. There's a story today that came out, actually yesterday, about Japan, okay, the country of Japan. And the headline story says, Japan to draw up UFO encounter protocols after U.S. footage. Now, okay, smokescreen, okay?
Yeah.
You don't think that these sorts of discussions have been going on
zipping across the water
for years and years and years? It's just now that there's so much more stuff coming out that if they don't come out ahead of it and put stuff out like this, like, oh yeah, we're looking at it. Oh yeah, we're paying attention. Oh yeah, again, it's not a full committal, but it's the door starting to open in the sense that I don't think there's any sensible leader or country in the world right now that has been at least in one conference call meeting over the last so many years that have said, okay, guys, what do you got? Well, I got a ship. What do you got? I got a body. Okay, what do you got? I got this. I got that. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and debate if they're here, if they're not, if they're friendly, if they're not, whatever the case, if we've shared technology. I do know this. I feel comfortable about this. I feel like that as a whole, and I'm going to say we as a whole, our world is aware that we are not alone, okay? In some form, some capacity, some level, whatever that may be. And in that statement alone, it's a whole new ballgame, okay? Because whether you were a truther, whether you were a skeptic, whether you didn't believe it, whether your religion doesn't allow you to get involved in stuff like this.
Your religion doesn't allow you.
You are strict dead.
You're not allowed to believe in any other beings.
You're dead, okay? Now, nobody has to believe that these are godlike creatures, or if you watch, we mentioned that alien show on the History Channel. Whatever it is, okay? Wake up, people, because it's opening. The door is opening. Now, it's already been open. We just weren't allowed to walk through it. But now with the exposure and the potential transparency, because, again, there's just so many things going on in that realm, the sightings, the videos. And we're not talking about Joe the farmer, okay, out in Mississippi someplace that's like, hey, I got abducted last night. My wife.
Probe.
Okay, we're talking about U.S. admirals on ships and captains and pilots and doctors. And I mean, there's a lot of credible people going, what the F are we seeing out there? So, again, I'm not trying to convince you. Just read. Like I said, everything else, there's a lot going on out there.
Okay.
I just hope that they're friendly. I hope that they want to come with us and join us, and we can all just have a drink together one day and be merry. But I guess we'll see soon enough.
No. We are the trailer park backwoods trailer park of the galaxy, of the Milky Way. Okay, we are. Okay, I think that more advanced civilizations send people here to observe. I think they send people here to try to help us along every once in a while. Okay, I told you about my theory, and it was a conspiracy theory that's been fed since World War II, is that we really didn't start seeing a lot of UFOs until we had more eyeballs on the sky. And that really didn't start happening until after World War II.
Sure.
And one theory was that with all the nuclear testing and the 2 H-bombs or A-bombs that we dropped on Japan, there was a thought that Japan might have had first contact, because they were seen to be a more advanced civilization with such a high-energy weapon. Okay, that was a big leap for us as a high-energy weapon. I'm sure that UFOs flew over our battlefields because they couldn't see them. Ha, 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 we're too high up for you, you can't see us, and watched us fight World War II. And I'm sure they were all like, maybe later, maybe when they're done fighting, we'll come back.
We'll let them work some things out for a while on their own.
Work it out. And they come back and they go, there was a couple of big boom booms over here.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe these guys know what they're doing. And they went and I'm thinking Japan had first contact. Okay. Why else would Japan all of a sudden be able to take an electronic technological advantage over the entire planet starting in the early 1950s and just build that up? How did that didn't happen by accident?
It's interesting theory. There are many theories.
It suddenly became available. It suddenly became, microprocessors and things suddenly came to a guy in Japan.
I just think with technology and the improvements, everything is exponential.
Sure.
So
it's explainable.
and exponential.
You can explain it away.
Once you open one door that's new and exciting and presents all this opportunity, that door then opens 3 more. And then that door is open. Those doors open 5 more. So technology is exponential. So whether or not they got it first, we got it first, who got it first, it's here. It's been here. It's still around us. It's real. Again, I'm hoping for the sake of humanity that it's not a negative thing that will be presented to us in the near future or not so near future, whenever that does officially happen. But
Aztec pyramids, aliens or people?
guy with the hair, aliens.
Egyptian pyramids, aliens or Hebrew slaves?
The Hebrews are pretty smart, so I don't know. I think they're
The Hebrews were hardworking and resourceful.
and they had to cut corners, literally financially. So I'm aliens. I'm still going
Aliens still going aliens.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of big bricks.
Yeah, but they were like half Hebrew, half alien. So so there was kind of a little bit of there was some interbreeding there.
He was alien on his father's side.
Yeah.
His mother was Hebrew and he was alien, so he's Hebrew.
Yeah, but technically he still had to serve in the army. So yeah, yeah. So that's how that works. 2 years guaranteed. So
that's hilarious. They know things.
yes,
They do. The truth is out there. Here's a good concept for you. Like you said, they know more. You know, like an Independence Day. Okay, plausible deniability, Mr. President. They didn't tell them about Area 51, but they know things. Okay, they didn't. The president doesn't know about it. He can't talk about it. Plausible deniability. Okay, sure. And maybe even Japan did get first contact, and they've been keeping it hush-hush. Plausible deniability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they know a lot more than they're letting on. Just the same way, and I love I'm able to segue into the deadlift world record being broken by the mountain yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, 1,104 pounds.
He lifted a Toyota.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
But that guy it's just like out in front, because I don't know if you've seen his last 2 lifts. He did the lift that tied the world record, and then he just did the breaking of the world record
Easily too.
And homeboy just walked right up, went with the straps, touchdown. I think he can do 1,150.
Probably.
I think he's going to break his own world record like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Because there's money involved.
Sure.
Okay. I think that there's a vaccine for the COVID-19. I think it exists. I do. I think it exists. I know it exists. Okay. That's the only way that public officials and anybody in the health industry, in the medical industry, would even entertain the idea of letting anybody out of their house, mask, not mask, whatever, because it's a nasty virus.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it exists. We're being sandbagged by everybody. The aliens have the vaccine. Son of a
Well,
biscuit.
they're here, so maybe they'll give it to us. So,
Maybe.
Maybe.
Little help in time for football season. Come on. Tua's looking good in workouts. It's scary. Let me ask you, does Tua Tagovailoa, and yes, I've been practicing his name because my position on him has evolved.
180, by the way.
Does he start if he is clearly the best quarterback in camp?
Absolutely not.
Clearly.
Absolutely not. Because
makes all the progression, all the right reads.
Well, first of all, he won't be. So there's no way that he's going to be able to come in with a 14,
100% healthy.
With a 15 Wonderlic, come in and pick up the offense as quickly as he did.
It wasn't 15.
It was 15. It was low.
It was low, but it wasn't 15.
It was originally 11, and they raised it to 15.
Yeah.
I got the numbers.
Why? Because he finished tying his left shoe?
Because he got all the letters in his name in the right order. Yeah, every vowel was accounted for.
He spelled it like I would have spelled it.
Listen, there's no reason, even if
Dude, there's
he
no
is,
N in your last name.
Because, again, all you're looking at that point is perception. He hasn't gone against the NFL talent. It's all practice squad stuff. Here's the
yeah.
deal. You don't
But
need
he did
to.
play in the he played in the SEC though. That's
I've argued that too, but
that's
you
NFL
don't.
light.
The Dolphins are not going to be contenders this year. There
Okay.
is no reason for them to put him into any situation where he only reaches 80% of his potential. Okay, what's the cause for that? You have a guy in place. What they did do, which was smart, is they brought back veteran key pieces around him.
Sure.
Brought in Matt Breida, re-signed Parker, have all these guys in place that are veteran guys on the offense that can take some of the pressure off of him when he is either had to be put in that position or is ready to assume that position. I just don't think he is assuming that position anytime soon. There's no reason for it.
I have to say that having a guy like him with the offense that they're putting together, which is the Chan Gailey spread, the single back Chan Gailey spread offense, and having a guy like Tua with this set of skill position players, it's a pretty formidable set of skill position players.
I agree.
Between the two running backs who both specialize in their various areas, Jordan Howard being more of a power back,
Another guy, veteran
and Breida
guy
being
coming
the
in.
speed back.
Yeah.
Okay, the little thunder and lightning.
The plan's in place.
Okay.
The plan's in place.
You have Mike Gesicki, who is coming into his own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, after wondering why did we spend a second round draft choice on this guy? Well,
Really good.
you had to get him a quarterback.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Oh yeah, the huge tight end. Let's throw it somewhere near him. He'll go get it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he is. But the wide receiver core that they have right now, their wide receiver room, 5, just off the top of my head, being Devontae Parker, Allen Hurns, Preston Williams, who showed out last year as a rookie, as an undrafted rookie, okay, who is very exciting, especially if he rehabs that knee properly, which I understand he's running. You know, he's rehabbing as much as he can.
Yeah, the surgeries now and the science now
Then
is
you
so
have
good.
Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson. That's a hot 5.
Okay.
That is a hot 5.
But again, the plan is still in the infantile stages
Sure.
of development. So again,
Sure.
you don't put in somebody that is just as infantile into that process when it doesn't have to be. You got it right this year, it seems like, in the draft. You had 100 picks. You'll hit on at least half of those picks that'll be impact players, some this year, some certainly moving forward. But again, Tua is part of the plan, and that plan doesn't have to be fully executed this year.
Okay. But imagine, if you will, you go into camp, the kid shows out. He's everything that you said. That the reason why you drive. He's everything. Okay, progressions, decision making, speed, velocity on the ball. He's 100% healthy. You put him in the preseason. He and you have him start. He lights up starting defenses, which, you know, you really should to begin with.
You're not selling me, but I understand your point.
Okay,
I do.
Lighten people up left and right. Okay, lighten them up. Do you still sit him on the bench?
Absolutely. Because you're lighting up other guys that are going to be probably looking for jobs in Vegas by the time whatever preseason we may or not have is over.
Right.
I cannot paint a scenario in which he dominates the landscape so much that he becomes the greatest first-year quarterback ever for a team in a rebuilding phase, for lack of better terms.
That might end up being Joe Burrow.
Of an assessment. Again, it doesn't have to happen because there's no reason to potentially introduce him to any kind of failure at this point. It's not something that will lend to his progression. And the team is progressing on its own.
Oh, yeah.
They did last year. They bought into the coaching staff. He got rid of some pieces out of originally you kind of questioned why, but now it's making sense.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins have a plan, and in executing that plan, they've got a quarterback that they know is going to be their future that doesn't have to be their future right now.
Well,
Because they've got a guy like Fitzpatrick, the Harvard star, with the beard and all. That's still
fear the beard.
now. Now again, don't get me wrong. They're getting him ready to play game one, just in case, because you got a guy that's 39 years old that probably isn't going to make it through the season. So, listen, plans in motion. They want him to be a starting quarterback, and he will be the starting quarterback. But they don't have to go all in week one. Tua's our guy, regardless of whatever he shows or doesn't show up to the point when the season starts.
Well, I think one key indicator is going to be if you get to that final week in preseason, whether it's 2 weeks or 4 weeks, 2 games or 4 games, but you get to that point just before the season, you'll be able to tell if he's ready and they're holding him back because they don't want to expose him right off the bat, is if the Dolphins trade Josh Rosen. If they trade Josh Rosen, that means that they are slotting Tua at number 2.
No question. No question.
There's no go-between. Tua's at 2. And then Fitzpatrick is going as long as he can stay alive.
Well, a large part of that will be dependent upon the demand for Josh Rosen. And if the Dolphins are offered what they feel is a can't-miss trade potential, whatever it is.
4th round, 5th round.
Again, I don't know what that value is.
Right.
The Dolphins do. But
Right.
if the Dolphins decide that whatever it is, then if they make that move, then clearly 2 things have happened. 1, they got what they wanted for Rosen.
Right.
And 2, Tua is in a position to be the number 2.
He's ready.
And then you are off and running. But again, not the one.
Well, and listen, the big difference between Tua and a guy like Patrick Mahomes or Mitch Trubisky. Okay, Trubisky, and once again, Trubisky came out and wowed in preseason for the Bears. Wowed, kicked ass, got the job because he wowed. Okay, he took the job from Mike Glennon.
There wasn't much ahead of him at the time.
Exactly.
Okay. And they knew who they were. They knew
Exactly.
they were defense. They knew they were run first.
Right.
They built an offense around a guy with somewhat of a limited skill set.
Right.
Tua's not that guy.
Right.
Tua can run the offense. He can throw the football downfield. He can read defenses.
He's a good leader.
He's a leader.
He's a good leader.
That's
for sure.
Trubisky's looking for a job. So.
And Trubisky's going to be looking for a job because he didn't get his 5th job. But
Yeah.
you're looking, the difference between them, and you look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes in preseason, his rookie preseason, didn't light it up. Didn't light anybody up. Looked confused at times. And I'm sure that right there, the decision was made. Alex Smith is the guy, even though we gave up 2 firsts and 2 seconds to trade up to get this kid. He is special, but he's going to need to sit. He's going to need to sit to get it. And it clicked for him eventually. It clicked during that rookie season because you saw him come out the final game of the year. They were, Kansas City getting ready to go to the playoffs. They wanted to rest Alex Smith. You saw the final game of the year. He tore it up. What did he go, like 21 of 24 or something like that?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I mean, and again,
And he was just all over the place. And all you heard from the announcers and the play-by-play, the color guy, were Brett Favre, Brett Favre, Brett Favre, Brett Favre, Brett Favre, Brett Favre. Okay? But we didn't know. We didn't know when the no-looks were going to come. We didn't know when the kid's rolling right, and he's looking over here, and he's staring a receiver down, and throws across his body. We didn't even see Travis Kelce standing there in the middle of the field. Okay? We didn't know that was going to happen yet. We didn't. We had no idea. Okay? It's almost like they hid that from us until year before last when he had his first start in game 1. And he comes out throwing across his body for touchdowns. That we had no idea. Okay? And I think that Tua is going to be probably head and shoulders the best quarterback in camp. Head and shoulders. I think he's got something to prove. And this is a guy who has always, when he's had something to prove, has done it. I'm going to go in the opposite direction of calling him brittle. Okay, let's remember that young man had surgery on his sprained ankle to make it heal in 2 weeks so that he could play
Toughness is not
in the
an
playoffs
issue.
and the national championship game.
Toughness is not a question.
Played with a broken thumb. Okay, once again, brittle, sure, it seems like it, but also he played hurt. He played with a lot of injuries.
I don't like to assess those terms brittle on certain players. You know what I
Right.
mean? You guys get it's not friggin'
My bad.
putt golf.
My bad.
It's football. Guys
Right.
get hurt in football.
Well, he could get hurt playing putt. He really
Possibly,
could.
yeah.
Stub a toe. He's out 2 weeks.
I don't know. Sometimes the footing isn't very good.
I know.
You know, the roadblocks and the different
and the
obstacles.
guys with the Birkenstocks. That's a distraction.
You ever try and putt through a windmill? Forget about it.
Horrible.
Yeah.
All right, I think we have run out of gas. Let's see if
Yeah.
anybody's actually still with us here.
There's probably a few.
Hey, look, you guys are talking about the team that brought Jay Cutler out of retirement. Oh, Michael, my buddy Mike, my buddy Mike is he is the biggest mope when it comes to the Dolphins. Huge fan, loves the team. He craps all over everything they do. It's like, they're going to fight him. That's it. He went back to Jay Cutler for this one. You guys are talking about the team that brought Jay Cutler out of retirement.
That's funny. It's true. Listen, I'm not.
Whatever is the stupidest possible thing that can be done, that's what the Dolphins will do. Oh, cheer up, Mike, for crying out loud.
You got to be positive for your team. I mean,
Yeah.
in some form, find the light somewhere. And I think the Dolphins have shown over last year in the coaching, like I said, the players, the draft, that the
They
light,
could get 7 starters
the
out of this
light
draft.
is as bright as it's ever been. I'm not a Dolphin fan. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not throwing it out there. I'm
Well,
not
your
some
Steelers
homer.
did all right. You guys drafted a big wide receiver. You had to have more weapons.
Big, strong wide receiver.
Yeah.
But Dolphins. The light is as bright as it's been in a while. They were at the bottom of the bottom on a lot of levels, and they're no longer there anymore. Okay, so it's ascension for the
Mike
Dolphins.
Tannenbaum's gone.
A lot of reasons, coaching, a lot of things in place, and yeah, Tannenbaum was definitely one of the
Gase is
issues.
gone.
So again, kudos to the Dolphins. Looks like they did what they needed to do this draft, and we just got to get it started. Let's get football started so we can reap the benefits and the rewards. We'll see. Hopefully soon. Oh, Korean baseball starts Tuesday, by the way.
Yay, Korean baseball and NASCAR
And
and
NASCAR.
all other sports that are going to start emerging.
Yes, hopefully.
We need that.
Golf too.
Any last words?
I don't think so.
No, you don't want to say like hi to the wife or anything like that?
Hello, wife. Hello, child. Brianna, Diana.
Huge fans, huge
Thanks for tuning in.
huge fans. Good, I get to shut that down. Okay. Well, then we're going to take it home then. So on behalf of myself and the Mazz, thank you so much for watching and playing along at home. Be happy, be healthy, be safe. Wear your mask in public, wash your hands, all of that. As we move forward and we come out of this pandemic panic, and we anticipate the return of our beloved sports, amongst other things. Don't forget, it is Sunday. 2 more shows, 7 o'clock, Chat Fight, 9 o'clock, cocktail hour, and they both have guests. And right now, off the top of my head, I can't remember who they are. I'm such a horrible executive producer. So make sure you tune in for those live, because they're both a lot of fun. And of course, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. with me and Sam Singh and Deirdre D. And they're going to be live in studio because I'm breaking quarantine. That, and they're both fastidiously clean, so they don't get it. They don't like dirty people. So I kind of trust them.
Wash your hands.
I always do. I'm the worst at that. You can look at these things. They're always being washed. My hands get dry. I have to use lotion. So there. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week, 11 a.m. We here on Sundays. And if you get a chance to see this podcast on YouTube, make sure to comment, subscribe, and like, and tell your mama, tell your friends. All right? So once again, on behalf of myself and the Mazz, thank you so much. Say goodbye, Mazz.
Good night and goodbye.
And we will catch you guys next week. Wait, I got to load that up. Oh, yeah, because we have like an outro, So see you next week.
Peace
Bye.
out.